Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be looking at the AI race, and specifically China's really meteoric rise. We're going to be basing this deep dive on a Q1 2025 report from Artificial Analysis. They're one of the leading firms for AI benchmarking. And one of the things that really caught our attention is that China is no longer just playing catch up. In fact, they've closed the gap in what's called frontier language model intelligence. And some of their models are even outperforming those from US labs.
Yeah, it really is a pretty significant shift. For a long time, the U.S. held a pretty comfortable lead, but China's been making some pretty strategic investments in focused development, and it's starting to show some real results.
Yeah, for sure. So let's kind of break down some of the things that the report's telling us, starting with the rise of these Chinese AI labs. We're seeing names like DeepSeek, Alibaba, Tencent. They're kind of popping up everywhere in the AI world these days. What do you think is driving their success?
Well, I think part of it is just the sheer speed of development. These labs are not just replicating existing technologies, they're actually innovating incredibly rapidly. So, for example, when OpenAI released its O1 model, which was a really groundbreaking achievement, DeepSeek responded with its own model, the R1 model, in just a few months. And it had comparable capabilities. This agility, I think, is a testament to just the intense competition that exists within China's AI sector.
So it's almost like this high-stakes race with each player kind of pushing the boundaries further and faster. And speaking of pushing boundaries, the report highlights this thing called open weights models. And it seems like China is taking a bit of a different approach than some U.S. companies. Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, you're right. Open weights models are AI models where the underlying code is actually made publicly available. This fosters a lot of collaboration. It allows others to build upon existing work. And Chinese AI labs, particularly DeepSeek and Alibaba, have really embraced this open approach, whereas some U.S. companies are keeping their advancements proprietary.
So what are the implications of this open versus closed approach? Is one inherently better than the other?
I don't think it's necessarily a matter of better or worse. I think it's more about different philosophies and potential consequences. So open weights models have the potential to really accelerate the pace of innovation because they enable wider access and shared learning. But at the same time, there are also concerns. If powerful AI tools are freely available, there's potential for misuse.
Right, that's definitely something to think about. Now, the report also talks about reasoning models, which sounds pretty advanced. What exactly are these, and where does China stand in this area?
Yeah, reasoning models represent a pretty significant leap in AI capabilities. So instead of just processing data and responding based on patterns, these models can actually think before they answer. So they evaluate information, they can draw inferences, and make decisions based on logical reasoning. OpenAI initially kind of led the way in 2024 with its O1 reasoning model, but Chinese labs have quickly caught up, and we're now seeing models from companies like DeepSeek that match or even surpass the reasoning capabilities of OpenAI's model.
Wow, so it sounds like while the U.S. might still have an overall edge, China's definitely closing in fast, particularly in these really advanced areas. So what's the global picture looking like based on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index?
Well, the Intelligence Index basically tracks global AI development, and it shows that the U.S. still maintains a lead. But China is right on its heels, and in fact only a few other countries are even in the running. When it comes to what the index calls frontier-class training, which essentially means developing the most advanced AI models.
Yeah, so it really does feel like a global AI race, doesn't it? And we can't forget about the major players here. The tech giants like Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent. How are they influencing China's AI trajectory?
They're heavily involved, each with kind of their own strategies. So Alibaba, for example, is a strong advocate for open weights models, whereas others like Baidu are focusing more on developing proprietary models and integrating AI into their existing platforms. Their involvement brings a lot of resources and talent and a competitive drive that's really accelerating China's progress.
Yeah, I can imagine. But it's not just the established giants, right? The report also mentions Chinese AI tigers and startups that are really making waves. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, these startups are adding a really dynamic element to China's AI landscape. They're attracting significant investment. They're pulling in top talent, and they're not afraid to take risks. Companies like Minimax, Moonshot, AI01, AI DeepSeek, Ziku, Baiswan Step Fund, they're all pushing the boundaries with these really innovative approaches.
Wow, it's incredible. So it sounds like a real mix of established players and these disruptors, all kind of contributing to this rapid progress. But I'm kind of curious, what's the impact of this on the average person in China? Are they seeing AI integrated into their daily lives yet?
Absolutely. AI is becoming increasingly pervasive in China. You see it everywhere from facial recognition technology, which is used for things like payments and security, to personalized shopping recommendations, and even AI-powered healthcare diagnostics. It's really rapidly changing the way people live and work.
It's fascinating to see how quickly these advancements are being adopted, but the report also touches on some challenges, specifically regulatory hurdles and hardware restrictions. How significant are these obstacles?
Yeah, these are definitely factors that could have an impact on the trajectory of China's AI development. One of the biggest challenges has been the U.S. export controls on high-end AI accelerators, particularly these advanced NVIDIA GPUs that are essential for training large AI models.
So how are Chinese companies coping with these restrictions? Are they finding ways to kind of innovate around them?
They're showing remarkable adaptability. One approach has been to develop their own AI chips, like the H20 chip that was mentioned earlier, which is designed to comply with current U.S. export regulations, but still provide pretty substantial processing power.
It's pretty impressive how they're finding ways to circumvent these limitations. But what about the long-term impact? Could these restrictions stifle innovation in the long run?
It's certainly a concern. Developing advanced AI chips is a complex and costly endeavor, and it could slow down progress if Chinese companies are constantly playing catch-up. The situation's also very fluid, with the U.S. potentially tightening restrictions further, which creates a lot of uncertainty in the market.
It sounds like a constant game of adaptation and innovation, with the rules kind of constantly changing. But let's kind of shift gears a bit and talk about the global implications of China's AI rise. What does this mean for the rest of the world?
Well, this is where things get really interesting. As China's AI capabilities grow, we're likely to see increased competition on the global stage, and this could lead to a more fragmented AI landscape, with different countries or blocks vying for dominance.
So instead of a collaborative global AI ecosystem, we could end up with competing factions, each with their own kind of standards and priorities.
It's a possibility, and it raises some concerns about potential conflicts and a slowdown in overall progress. Imagine a scenario where breakthroughs in healthcare or climate change mitigation are hindered because of a lack of cooperation and data sharing.
Yeah, that's a pretty sobering thought. But are there any potential benefits to this increased competition? Could it actually drive innovation forward?
There's certainly an argument to be made for that. Competition often spurs innovation, with each player striving to outperform the other. So this could lead to faster advancements and breakthroughs, as each side pushes the boundaries of what's possible.
So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, with both potential benefits and risks. But let's bring it back to our listener for a second. Why should they care about this AI race and its global implications?
Well, this isn't just some abstract competition happening in research labs. The advancements in AI will have a profound impact on everyone's lives, from the jobs we do to the way we interact with the world. So understanding the dynamics of this race, the different approaches, and the potential consequences is really crucial for navigating the future.
Absolutely. It's about being informed and aware of the forces that are shaping our world so we can participate in the conversation and make informed decisions. But let's dig a little deeper into some of the specifics of the report. It highlighted some interesting details about the different strategies employed by Chinese AI labs.
Yeah, one key difference is the approach to open source development. As we mentioned earlier, Chinese labs, particularly DeepSeek and Alibaba, have been very active in releasing open weights models, while some U.S. companies are taking a more proprietary route.
So what are the potential advantages and disadvantages of each approach? Does open sourcing AI technology accelerate progress, or does it create risks?
It's a complex question with no easy answers. Open sourcing allows for faster dissemination of knowledge and encourages collaboration. It can also democratize access to AI, giving smaller players and developing countries a chance to catch up.
That sounds positive, but what about the potential downsides?
Well, the main concern is the risk of misuse. If powerful AI tools are freely available, they could fall into the wrong hands and be used for malicious purposes, such as developing autonomous weapons or creating sophisticated disinformation campaigns. There's also a concern about intellectual property protection and the potential for companies to exploit open source contributions for commercial gain without contributing back to the community.
So it's a delicate balance between fostering innovation and mitigating potential risks. It seems like there's no clear consensus on the best approach.
Exactly. The debate over open versus closed AI development is ongoing, and it's likely to continue as the field evolves.
Now let's talk about the role of those Chinese AI taggers we mentioned earlier. How are these startups contributing to the overall AI landscape?
They bring a fresh perspective and a willingness to experiment that often leads to groundbreaking innovation. They're not burdened by legacy systems or corporate bureaucracy, which allows them to move quickly and try new things. They're also attracting top talent from universities and research labs, which further fuels their growth.
It sounds like they're playing a really crucial role in pushing the boundaries of AI development, but are they facing any unique challenges compared to the established tech giants?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for startups is access to resources, particularly funding and data. Developing cutting-edge AI requires massive data sets for training models, and this can be really expensive to acquire and manage. Startups also need to compete with the deep pockets of tech giants for talent and market share.
So it's a tough landscape to navigate, but it sounds like these startups are making a significant impact nonetheless. The report also touched on the regulatory landscape in China. How is the government approaching AI regulation, and how does it compare to other countries?
China's approach to AI regulation is evolving rapidly. The government recognizes the strategic importance of AI and is actively promoting its development, while also putting in place frameworks to address potential risks and ethical concerns.
So what are some of the key areas of focus in China's AI regulations?
Well, data privacy is a major concern, and the government has introduced regulations to protect personal data and ensure responsible use of AI. In areas like facial recognition, there are also guidelines on AI ethics, focusing on issues like bias fairness and transparency.
It sounds like China is taking a really proactive approach to AI governance, recognizing both the opportunities and the potential risks. How does this compare to the regulatory landscape in other countries, particularly the U.S.?
Well, there are some similarities and differences. The U.S. also has regulations related to data privacy and is increasingly focusing on AI ethics. However, there are also debates about the extent of government intervention in AI development and concerns about stifling innovation with overly restrictive regulations.
It's a complex issue, and finding the right balance between promoting innovation and protecting societal interests is really crucial. But let's zoom out a bit and talk about the broader geopolitical implications of this AI race. How is it impacting relations between China and the U.S.?
AI is increasingly seen as a strategic asset, and the competition between China and the U.S. in this domain is adding another layer of tension to their already complex relationship.
Are there any specific examples of how this AI competition is playing out geopolitically?
Well, the U.S. export controls on AI hardware are a prime example. These restrictions are specifically designed to slow down China's progress in AI, which really highlights the strategic importance of this technology. There are also concerns about potential military applications of AI and the risk of an AI arms race.
It's a reminder that this isn't just a technological race, it's also a geopolitical one, with potentially far-reaching consequences.
It's a complex landscape with economic, technological, and national security interests, all kind of intertwined. And as AI becomes more powerful, these tensions are likely to intensify.
It paints a somewhat unsettling picture of the future. Is there any room for collaboration in this AI race? Or are we destined for a world of competing AI superpowers?
That's a crucial question, and the answer might lie somewhere in between. While competition is certainly a driving force, there's also a growing recognition that some challenges are too big for any one nation to tackle alone. Issues like AI safety ethics and the potential for misuse require global cooperation.
So how do we bridge that gap between competition and collaboration? Are there any existing examples of countries working together on AI?
There are some promising initiatives. For instance, there are international organizations and research groups dedicated to developing ethical guidelines for AI and fostering collaboration on AI safety research. There are also examples of open-source collaborations, where researchers from different countries contribute to shared AI projects.
Those are encouraging signs, but it seems like there's still a long way to go to achieve meaningful global cooperation on AI. What can individuals do to contribute to this effort?
Awareness is a powerful first step. Staying informed about the latest developments in AI, the different approaches, and the potential risks and benefits is crucial. You can also engage in conversations about AI ethics and advocate for responsible AI development. Supporting organizations working on AI safety and governance is another way to make a difference.
So it's about becoming informed participants in this AI revolution, not just passive observers. We can all play a role in shaping the future of AI and ensuring that it benefits humanity as a whole. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one final point. We've been talking a lot about the technical aspect of AI and the global competition. But what about the human element? How is this rapid advancement in AI impacting people's lives?
That's a vital consideration. AI is already transforming the workplace, automating tasks, and creating new job opportunities. It's also impacting how we interact with technology, how we consume information, and even how we make decisions. These changes are happening rapidly, and it's important to consider the social and economic implications.
It raises questions about the future of work, education, and even our social structures. How do we prepare for a world where AI plays an increasingly prominent role?
Adaptability and lifelong learning are key. As AI continues to evolve, we need to be prepared to learn new skills and adapt to changing job markets. We also need to foster critical thinking and problem-solving abilities, skills that will be essential in an AI-driven world.
It's a call to action, a reminder that we need to actively participate in shaping this AI-powered future. We can't simply sit back and let technology dictate the course of our lives. So as we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a final thought. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's a story that we're all writing together. By engaging with this technology thoughtfully and responsibly, we can create a future where AI empowers humanity and helps us solve some of the world's most pressing challenges.
Well said. The journey doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with this incredible technology.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, stay curious.
Yeah, it's a reminder that this isn't just some, technological race. It's also a geopolitical one with, potentially far-reaching consequences.
For sure. So it paints a kind of unsettling picture of the future. Is there any room for collaboration in this AI race? Or are we destined for a world of just like competing AI superpowers?
That's the question, isn't it? I think the answer might actually lie somewhere in between. While competition is definitely a driving force, there's also a growing recognition, I think, that some challenges are too big for any one nation to really tackle alone. Issues like AI safety ethics and, that potential for misuse really require global cooperation.
So how do we bridge that gap then between the competition and the collaboration? Are there any existing examples of countries that are actually working together on AI?
There are some promising initiatives. For instance, you have some international organizations and research groups that are dedicated to developing ethical guidelines for AI and fostering collaboration on AI safety research. There are also some examples of open source collaborations where researchers from different countries are contributing to these shared AI projects.
That's good to hear. Those are encouraging signs, but it seems like there's still a long way to go to achieve meaningful global cooperation on AI. So what can individuals do to contribute to this effort?
Well, awareness is a powerful first step. Staying informed about the latest developments in AI, the different approaches, and the potential risks and benefits is really crucial, I think. You can also engage in conversations about AI ethics and advocate for responsible AI development. Supporting organizations that are working on AI safety and governance is another really great way to make a difference.
It's about becoming informed participants in this AI revolution, not just passive observers. We can all play a role in shaping the future of AI and ensuring that it benefits humanity as a whole. Well said. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one final point. We've been talking a lot about the technical aspects of AI and the global competition. But what about the human element? How is this rapid advancement in AI impacting people's lives?
That's a vital consideration. AI is already transforming the workplace, automating tasks and creating new job opportunities. It's also impacting how we interact with technology, how we consume information, and even how we make decisions. These changes are happening very rapidly, and it's important to consider the social and economic implications.
Yeah, you're right. It raises a lot of questions about the future of work education and even our social structures. How do we prepare for a world where AI plays an increasingly prominent role?
Well, adaptability and lifelong learning are going to be key. As AI continues to evolve, we need to be prepared to learn new skills and adapt to changing job markets. We also need to foster critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Those skills will be essential in an AI-driven world.
It's a call to action, a reminder that we need to actively participate in shaping this AI-powered future. We can't simply sit back and let technology dictate the course of our lives. So as we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave our listener with a final thought. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's a story that we're all writing together. By engaging with this technology thoughtfully and responsibly, we can create a future where AI empowers humanity and helps us solve some of the world's most pressing challenges.
Well said. The journey doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with this incredible technology.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Until next time, stay curious.
It really is. It's kind of a complex landscape with, the economic, the technological, the national security interests, all kind of intertwined. And as AI becomes more and more powerful, these tensions are likely to intensify.
Yeah, I can see that. So it kind of paints a slightly unsettling picture of the future. Is there any room for collaboration in this AI race at all, or are we just destined for a world of competing AI superpowers?
It's a really important question. And, I think the answer might actually lie somewhere in between those two extremes. So while competition is definitely like a driving force, there is a growing recognition, I think, that some of these challenges are just too big for any one nation to tackle on their own. Issues like AI safety and ethics and the potential for misuse really do require global cooperation.
So how do we kind of bridge that gap then between the competition and the collaboration? Are there any existing examples of countries that are working together on AI right now?
There are some promising initiatives out there. For instance, you have international organizations and research groups that are dedicated to developing ethical guidelines for AI and fostering collaboration on things like AI safety research. You also have examples of open source collaborations, where researchers from different countries are all contributing to these shared AI projects.
That's really good to hear. Those are really encouraging signs. But it does seem like there's still a long way to go to achieve meaningful global cooperation on AI. So what can individuals do? What can I do? You contribute to this effort.
Well, awareness is a really powerful first step. Staying informed about the latest developments in AI, the different approaches, the potential risks and benefits is so crucial. You can also engage in conversations about AI ethics, advocate for responsible AI development, even supporting organizations that are working on AI safety and governance. Those are all really great ways to make a difference.
So it's about becoming informed participants in this AI revolution, not just passive observers. We can all play a role in shaping the future of AI and ensuring that it benefits humanity as a whole.
Absolutely.
Before we wrap up, I want to touch on one final point. We've been talking a lot about, all the technical aspects of AI and the global competition, but what about the human element? How is this rapid advancement in AI impacting people's lives right now?
Yeah, that's a vital consideration. AI is already transforming the workplace. It's automating tasks, creating new job opportunities. It's also impacting the way we interact with technology, how we consume information, even how we make decisions. And all of these changes are happening so rapidly that it's really important to consider the social and economic implications.
Yeah, for sure. It raises all sorts of questions about the future of work and education and even our social structures. So how do we prepare for a world where AI plays such a prominent role?
I think adaptability and lifelong learning are going to be absolutely key. As AI continues to evolve, we all need to be prepared to learn new skills and adapt to changing job markets. We also need to foster critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Those skills will be essential in an AI-driven world.
It's a call to action, a reminder that we need to be active participants in shaping this AI-powered future. We can't just sit back and let technology dictate the course of our lives. So as we kind of conclude this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. The future of AI is not predetermined. It's a story that we're all writing together. By engaging with this technology thoughtfully and responsibly, we can create a future where AI empowers humanity and helps us solve some of the world's most pressing challenges.
That's a great point. The journey definitely doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with this incredible technology.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI, and until next time, stay curious.